This Sunday on Capital Connection, a shocker in federal court.
There's a difference between mistakes and crimes.
Prosecutors drop all 24 felony charges against former Republican Congressman Aaron Schock, accused of lavish spending from his campaign and official government accounts. Plus, the return of reefer madness as national groups organize their campaign to stir up scare tactics against legal marijuana.
We're seeing car tragedies and car accidents and DUIs.
And Governor Pritzker pulls back the curtain on his proposal to institute a graduated income tax. But first, he has to change the state constitution.
People like me should pay more, and people like you should pay less.
And joining us on our Reporters Roundtable, Jerry Nowicki from Capital News, Illinois, and Hannah Meisel from the Daily Line. It's all coming up on Capital Connection.
From the Illinois State Capitol, this is your Capital Connection.
Welcome to Capital Connection. I'm Mark Maxwell. We have our first look at Governor Pritzker's proposed tax rates, how much you would pay in income and property taxes under his proposed plan. Plus this week, news out of a federal court, former Congressman Aaron Schock vindicated on all 24 felony counts as federal prosecutors drop those charges on the condition that he pay back taxes and reimburse his own campaign fund, plus an expanding lawsuit against Speaker Michael Madigan. Governor Pritzker's long-awaited income tax proposal is now public. The governor unveiled his progressive income tax rates at a press conference Thursday, claiming a haul of $3.4 billion in new taxes on the richest people in the state, while promising most people in Illinois would see a minor tax cut.
The middle class and people striving to get their significant tax relief. This is the relief, $5 a week.
Hundreds of dollars for many families across the state of Illinois is real relief. And remember, we're also accomplishing something incredibly important for the state, which is by stabilizing our state and the state's finances, we're giving people an opportunity to start businesses, to grow businesses, and for companies all over the world to choose to come to Illinois because they'll have certainty. That's one of the most important things for job creation.
Labor groups love Pritzker's plan, but business groups sound the alarm, warning this move will only accelerate the exodus, prompting more people to pack up and move out.
I've seen nothing that it demonstrates that we're going to go ahead and decrease business costs that would allow us to have the discussion about higher revenues through taxation.
And federal prosecutors agree Wednesday to drop all charges against former Republican Congressman Aaron Schock. Schock agreed to pay back all the money he owes the IRS and his campaign fund. The Peoria Republican was indicted in 2016 on charges he misused campaign and official funds. He resigned then under scrutiny about lavish spending. Schock says neither he nor his staff ever intended to break the law.
I've said from the beginning that there was never an intent by me or my staff to commit crimes. And obviously, I'm thankful to the Northern District, who did the right thing today, who did what they told the judge they would do 6 months ago, which was a fair evaluation of the indictment with the facts, and they came to a just resolution to dismiss the indictment in its entirety and all 24 felony counts.
Under the agreement, the 37-year-old Schock will have to pay back $42,000 to the IRS and will plead guilty to a misdemeanor count of failing to properly report expenses. And a national group that calls itself Smart Approaches to Marijuana staged a rally at the Statehouse Wednesday, stoking fears about what might happen to children and drivers if Illinois legalizes cannabis.
How our youth consumption rate has gone up in states who legalized it, and how we're seeing car tragedies and car accidents and DUIs.
House Democrat Kelly Cassidy says her studies show that's not true, and she points out people are already using marijuana in an unregulated black market.
Every sky is falling argument that these folks make, these things are happening today. We have over 800,000 people in the state of Illinois who report regular use of cannabis.
And for more insight and analysis for the news of the week, we turn now to our Reporters Roundtable, Jerry Nowicki with Capital News Illinois and Hannah Meisel from Daily Line. Good to have you both with us. First, Hannah, you've covered for many years this case into former Congressman Aaron Schock. Were you shocked with the result, and how did we get here?
You know, I was not. So Aaron Schock he resigned in March of 2015 after, national reporting about his lavish D.C. office renovation in the style of Downton Abbey. Then there was more concerns over mileage reimbursements.
From his campaign fund?
Yes, full campaign and official house fund. And so He was indicted in 2016, and there were a lot of trial delays and a lot of back and forth. At one point, it went to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. There were just a lot of problems with the case, it turned out, and what seemed like it was clear-cut at first just was not. And so now he's taking this deal where basically he just has to pay back the funds, and in 6 months, his record will be wiped clean.
So he's got to pay back those funds. He's sort of gone on a bit of a vindication national media circuit, declaring his vindication now and his innocence, but taking responsibility for what he calls administrative mistakes. He will be joining us on Capital Connection at some point in the near future. How's that for a bit of a cliffhanger? Jerry, welcome. This is your maiden voyage on Capital Connection, but you've been getting started, doing a great job here covering the State House for this new Capital News Bureau, the Capital News Illinois. I noticed some of your detailed reporting, first and foremost looking at one of Governor Pritzker's new tax plans, this idea to tax plastic bags.
And paper.
And paper bags.
Correct.
Okay. Give us a bit of a sense on what the details are there. I understand that Senator Link, as you reported, is floating a proposal, but it's still open to some discussion or negotiation.
Right. It passed through the Revenue Committee yesterday, and he said he's going to bring it back with amendments, but right now it would tax plastic bags statewide at 7 cents, but it would not duplicate Chicago's or Oak Park taxes. They would be exempt from the state tax.
So they're already being taxed there at 7 cents, I believe.
I think Oak Park's might be 10.
Yeah. Explain though, and I guess this is common in places around the country where they tax plastic bags, but a portion of that tax, I think 2 cents of the 7, goes back to the store. Why
Correct.
Is that?
They said it was to offset costs, stocking alternative bags and other administrative costs for accounting for the tax.
So a small tax there. Some people are going to say, well, I'm going to bring my own bags, or I'm going to do, I don't know how online shopping fits into all this, but we'll figure that out as this becomes closer to soup, if you will.
Right.
And there was an exemption for people that use SNAP benefits. Groceries that go in those bags, those are exempt. Those are not taxed.
Correct.
Is that to protect the SNAP program from the erosion of?
I mean, that's tax money. Essentially, that's purchasing those groceries. So I don't know if you
cannibalize other tax revenues. So they kind of have a clean-cut boundary there. Interesting. Also, something that's been sort of burning in the background or on the back burner for a while has been this case filed in federal court against Speaker Madigan and his operation there. Elena Hampton was the campaign worker who initially launched this. That case expanded in the last week?
Right. In the last week, there's a new court filing that reveals that 2 women had come forward to tell Speaker Madigan about a person on his governmental staff who had harassed and or assaulted these 2 women. And Elena Hampton, her lawyers have said, why didn't the speaker do anything about it? This person remained on staff for 2 more years. And so it just adds to the case against the speaker. It erodes his plausible deniability, you could say.
Well, the Speaker's office, we should note, said that his then chief of staff and his then administrative chief, I suppose, Jessica Basham, knew about it, handled it, did not fire him, but did not tell the Speaker. So they're claiming he did not know about this issue. I believe that staffer then became a lobbyist and has now been scrubbed from the lobbyist website and no longer an active lobbyist, so far as we can tell. So that's an interesting update to that story. We'll continue to track it as it develops, and thanks for that. But Jerry, before we go, one other interesting bill that we found, and we learned some rather disturbing facts about nursing homes and the care of the elderly in Illinois. We're dead last nationwide at the level of staffing per seniors in nursing homes. AARP says 39% of nursing homes in Illinois got a bad score in 2015 from the Federal Medicaid and Medicare Oversight Bureau. They're looking to, state lawmakers are looking to fix this by slapping some penalties on these bad nursing homes. What's the goal there, and how are they going to, what are these penalties, how do they work?
Well, they want accountability from the nursing home, so I don't think the fine structures have been decided yet. Those would have to be determined at a later point, but currently there are staffing minimums, I think 3.8 hours of care per person in a skilled care nursing home. And if they fail to meet those numbers, they would be fined for that.
And they wouldn't just get slapped with a fine, but I believe your story pointed out they would be slapped with a sign on the front door, sort of a bad mark of shame that says this place is understaffed.
they'd want greater accountability out of that for sure, too. That would also be part of the bill.
Very interesting. Jerry and Hannah, thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to continue to follow more of your reporting as session continues. We're back in a moment with two state lawmakers who are looking at two important issues of public safety, gun control, and also Governor Pritzker's new progressive income tax proposal. It's now out. We'll take a look when we come back.